Today, my guest is Laura-Valentine.
I'm adopted twice, first into my earthly family and then secondly into my heavenly family through the blood of Jesus Christ.
Savior, live your faith and pass it on. Share the gospel clear and strong. Stand for, claim your heritage of truth.
Welcome to Heritage of Truth. Today, my guest is Laura-Valentine. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
Now, Laura is a singer,
Yes.
and she has, this is your newest
Yep.
CD, newest album, Laura-Valentine, Right About Now. And you have, what was the name of your first one?
My Sweet Home.
My Sweet Home.
Yeah.
Now, why did you write about your sweet home?
I was adopted from China when I was 3 months. And so My Sweet Home is talking about my adoptive family and how being an adoptee and living at home. And so those were my thoughts.
Here at Heritage of Truth, we firmly believe in adoption. It's a picture of what God does for us as we become believers, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's actually what I say. I'm adopted twice, first into my earthly family and then secondly into my heavenly family through the blood of Jesus Christ. So yeah.
That's right. Well, I listened to this album Right About Now, and one of the lyrics says, I want to be the one that holds the light up for all that's true.
Oh, shine for you.
Yes.
I love that song. I wrote it with Cindy Morgan. And so we were just jamming out, and I kind of wanted to say the things that I want to be as a personal person. I want to be the one who does hold the light up for God and his kingdom and shine bright for him, not just for man to see, but for man to see through God's will.
Right. Another song that you had on there that I really thought was sweet was Call Home. Why don't you tell us about that one? How did that one come about?
Call Home, it was written with my producer, Ian Eskelin. And so it was just all the memories of my adoptive parents. You know, I'm going off to college now. I'm going away. And so it was just a little song to them saying, I love you. Thank you for all that you've done for me. You're always home to me, no matter where I go.
Yeah.
So it was just a little love song to them.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, one of the things that I know some adoptees struggle with the fact that their parents might have abandoned them. You have a different attitude about that. I've read about that. So why don't you talk about that?
Well, when I was little, this is actually one of my songs too. It's called Purple Butterfly. And so my parents took me to a psychologist when I was like 5 to see if I was okay and how I was adjusting to the States. And so he asked me to draw something. And so I drew a brown branch with cocoons hanging down from it. All of them were brown, and then there was this one purple cocoon. And he asked me, what is this? And I said, everyone else is the brown cocoon, but I'm the purple cocoon because I'm more special because I was adopted. And so he went back to my parents and said, there's nothing wrong with her. She's going to be okay. But I really, back then, I was little. You know, I was adopted at 3 months. I was very little. I didn't really understand what really adoption meant until I got older. And so that's when I started having challenges of really thinking hard about why my mother abandoned me, when in reality it was a true act of love. She sacrificed everything that she may have gone through just for me so that I could have a better life. And now I look at it as a true blessing that she really did love me, in fact, even though I had that struggle of why did she give me up? What would have life been like?
Yeah.
But now I could have asked for a better situation.
Yeah. I hope that other adoptees who might have had some doubts would listen to that and think, you know, that if they don't know the motivation, why don't they give their mother the benefit of the doubt? Because most mothers do love their children, and if they can't care for them, then the most loving thing is to give them up.
It is. And every adoptee goes through their struggles. I mean, I didn't go through it till I was like later in my teens. You know, we all have those little roadblock moments, but you have to realize it takes a while. And I know it's hard. It was hard for me personally to talk about my biological mom or talk about my feelings about it. I would push away my parents and like not talk about it. But in the end, you realize there was a greater purpose in that whole situation.
one of the things that's unique about your ministry, well, actually, I wanted to talk about this first. There's a song called I've Been Found, which relates to what you were just talking about.
Yeah. It, it was, I love that song. It's really light and bubbly. And that was the whole point of my second CD. We wanted it to be uplifting with a deep meaning. And so I've Been Found was one of my favorite ones. I wrote it with Sarah Wood and Anna Dara Arnold, and it was awesome. We had fun with it, and it was just basically about my life now. How I realized I have been found through not only my adoptive family, but through Jesus. It's also relating back to saying I was twice adopted. I've been found. I have a home. I love it, and it's just now my life.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
I was wondering, why a purple butterfly? Do you just like purple?
Well, no, that's why the cocoon, there was one cocoon that was purple, and it just,
so
I don't know.
That wasn't your favorite color necessarily.
I don't know, but it has stuck as our ministry color. It is our theme ministry color.
Cool.
And it just, I don't know.
It's such a happy color.
It is a happy color. It's a very bright color. I do love it, though.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's unique about your ministry, at least I believe it is, I don't know of anyone else doing this, is that when you do concerts, you use them to help children get adopted.
Yes, it's wonderful. We actually use the proceeds from the CDs, from the merchandise, from anything that people buy on our website, as well as the concerts, to help fund for Christian families who want to adopt but need money to complete that adoption. And so it's kind of like a give back. It all started when I went to my first mission trip in Uganda. I really saw the plight of the abandoned child, and it really struck me that that could have been my life. And I went back home a changed person with a new attitude, with a mission to help as many kids get adopted. And so now we're here 2 years later. It's been an incredible journey.
Wow. So what was that experience like in Uganda?
It was very hard for me to look at it. I love playing with kids. Kids are one of my joys, as well as animals. I don't know, I have that connection. Like, I work at an animal shelter with kids and animals, so it kind of ties in. It just really shook me to see how those kids lived. Because we worked at an orphanage, so I was around orphan kids all the time, and it made me sad, because it's like, why was I chosen? It made me think about that too. But then in realization, God brought me to Uganda so that I could experience that, even though it was painful for me, so that I could come back to the States and have that mission and determination to help all these kids.
Right. And how did they live there?
It was very interesting. The orphanage that we went to was actually very nice for the quality of Uganda. We went to a little city called Mukono. And so it was nice. It was a boarding school, so they got to sleep there. But to be honest, their meals was just rice and beans every day. It was a struggle to get fresh water.
Something as little as water. I mean, we take that so much for granted.
It is, because we were supposed to, because we were told that the water is contaminated. So we had to buy bottled waters. And so the kids would know we had bottled water. So sometimes they would steal our water bottles and drink it because they knew. But what was the cool thing about that trip was it brought out the first kid that I helped get adopted.
Oh.
Her name is Maggie. She was from the school that we worked with. And so for my Sweet 16, it was the release of my first album. Instead of asking for birthday gifts, we asked for love donations to bring Maggie home. And now she's been home for a while, and she lives...
So you're not 16 anymore.
Oh, no, I'm not 16. I'm 18. But she lives in San Diego, so I get to see her very often with her family.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
That's great. Well, you also had a song called Echo.
Yeah.
That is a really neat song. I like that.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us about Echo?
Well, it was really weird because Ian and I were sitting in his studio thinking of songs, and it was really weird because all the sound booth things that he had in his room, I was just sitting by it and playing with it, and I saw one that said Echo, and I thought, that what about, because he was coming up with ideas, I was like, what about echo? Because he started strumming stuff, and I was like, echo, echo, echo. And then he was like, yeah, I like that. And so it just became a huge thing, and I was like, what do we want to do? We want to echo what God is saying to us at times, or what he's trying to convey to us. And so that's how echo came out, and I like it. I get to play the tambourine on it, so that's fun.
These ones I mentioned are my favorite on the album.
That's good.
My favorites on the album. Well, you also have an iBook.
Yeah.
An iBook, Laura-Valentine, right about now, that people can download from the internet with pictures. And
yeah, it's interactive. You can click on the pictures. It has videos. It has soundtrack. I think it's really cool, personally.
Okay, I do too. I think it's really neat. Okay, so where can people find you online so that they can download this ebook and interact with it?
They can find me at www.laura-valentine.com.
Okay, and I hope they will do that. Again, Laura-Valentine, right about now. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Stand